got on the PC.
Now, it turns out the Mac was able to render that game at 55 frames per second versus 45 frames per second on the fastest PC with a $200 Voodoo 2 add-in card. So you can see the difference in performance there. The Mac is 20% faster than even the Voodoo 2 card added into the fastest PC. Thank you, Phil.
Sure, Steve.
Now that we got the best hardware in the industry, we wanted to provide a graphics library, a 3D graphics standard in software for our developers. And we chose what we think is the best one out there after talking with our developers, which is OpenGL from Silicon Graphics. And we've licensed that, and we're going to be building OpenGL into all future releases of the Macintosh operating system. And I think the game developers are extremely excited about this. So, we think we've nailed the best graphics in the industry. The most expandable. Well, to start with, you can add up to 1 gigabyte of memory inside our new Power Mac G3s. And you can add 100 gigabytes of disk inside that box using 3 disk drives. We can hold up to 3 disk drives, and we will be shipping the new IBM 36 gig disk drives as our highest end build-to-order option. So you can have over 100 gigabytes of disk drives inside the box with these 3 drives. In addition to that, we've added a 4th slot. So there are now 4 slots inside, and 3 of them are 64-bit PCI for very, very fast peripherals. On the I/O ports, let me explain our philosophy first. We believe in using industry standards. We believe in using I/O that is serial versus parallel, because high-speed serial I/O means much smaller cables, much nicer for consumers as well as professionals. And we believe in plug and play. You should be able to plug it together, and it should just work. No switches to set or anything else. So what I/O have we built in to the new Power Mac G3 that meets this philosophy? Well, of course, the first one is Ethernet. Ethernet is an industry standard. It is high-speed serial interface. And we have 100 megabit Ethernet built in, and you can get it now with gigabit Ethernet available in the new Power Mac G3, the first personal computer in the industry to offer it. The second thing we built in is universal serial bus. This is a new industry standard that is terrific. It's called USB for short, and this is its symbol. Now, what does USB do that the old serial ports in the Mac didn't do? A lot. Let me compare them. The old serial ports ran fairly slow. USB is 30 times faster at 12 megabits per second. The serial ports, you could connect 2 devices to your Mac. With USB, you can connect 127 devices to your Macintosh. The old serial ports were not hot pluggable. You needed to really turn off the power to use them safely. USB, you can plug in and out with the power on, and it automatically self-configures. And the drivers are dynamically loadable, so that when you plug in a new USB device, the drivers will be dynamically loaded in. And it's an industry standard, which means that when a peripheral company wants to make a new peripheral, to make a version for the Mac, all they have to do is write the driver. The hardware is exactly the same as what they would use for Windows. So this is really great. And the number of USB devices is going through the roof. There are soon to be over 100 USB devices shipping for the Macintosh by the end of this quarter. By the end of next month, over 100 will be shipping. Next, we have built-in FireWire. Apple invented this technology years ago, and the IEEE adopted it as a standard, IEEE 1394, a few years ago. There was a press release just issued yesterday of many companies in the industry getting behind this. And it is really, really picking up momentum to be a very powerful industry standard in both the personal computer industry and the consumer electronics industry. This is the symbol for FireWire. And let me take you back and explain why we need it. When the Macintosh first shipped with a SCSI port, it was 12 years ago, 1987. And it was a breakthrough. It was a high-speed parallel interface that connected to both the internal disk drives, but also external disk drives and other peripherals like scanners, etc. And it worked great. But that was 12 years ago. What's happened since is that the SCSI port that Apple built in is only used for external devices, and much faster versions of SCSI or other interfaces are used for internal disk drives. So Ultra ATA, which is very fast, much faster than the old Apple SCSI, is what we use to talk to disk drives in the new Power Macintosh G3. And for the very high end, we use Ultra 2 SCSI. But this is different than the SCSI that comes out the back. The SCSI that comes out the back is a bit of an orphan, and it's not so fast. And so when we compare it to FireWire, let's take a look. FireWire is 5 times faster than the old SCSI port that used to come out the back of the Macintosh. FireWire can connect to 63 devices instead of just 7. FireWire is hot pluggable, so I can plug things in and out with the power on. You should not do that with SCSI. You could destroy your devices and your computer. You need terminators with SCSI. If you don't plug the terminator